Today, what I really want to talk about and what I want to remind you of is your worth. You are so worthy. I want to remind you how purposeful your life is and how meaningful you are to all that is. Well, welcome back. It is so great to have you. It really does tickle me that you show up here, because if you're here, it means that you are interested in your own self-care, which is invaluable to the world, and your meditation. If you are new here, my name is Sharon. I am a meditation guide, self-care coach, and a soon-to-be certified hypnotist. If you walk away with anything from this class, I hope it is that your life and the meaning of your life is innate. Your purpose is found in your presence and the love and compassion you bring to this moment. So, before I get to why that is true about you, I want to talk a little bit about maybe an experience that you might share with me. And sometimes, and especially in the past, I used to find myself in what I might call a mini existential crisis. And this is when you experience overwhelming thoughts of who am I? What is this life? And why the heck? Why? What is the meaning? What is the purpose of all of this? And how strange and bizarre is that? Mini existential crisis. And I found myself having those, in part, I think, because I used to define myself by my job, my occupation. I used to define myself by my accomplishments. I used to define myself by other people's perceptions of me. And the thing about defining yourself in this way is that it really only scratches the surface of who you are. And I think if you've ever done that to yourself before, defined yourself by those things, that you can feel a little bit that it is just surface level, that it doesn't really touch you at your core. So, long story short, it really wasn't until I hit the bottom of a depression cycle and I had this aha moment where I was like, I have got to hop off of this goal-driven, people-pleasing hamster wheel. Initially, in the stillness and rawness of looking at myself without all the stories I had previously defined myself by, I felt lost. It can be all too tempting to try to avoid that feeling, avoid the void, the spaces of I don't know, especially when it comes to your identity. Fortunately, there's a tool for this very moment, for that rawness, for the void, for that emptiness, and it's meditation, and that's why we're here today. Meditation is meant to show you that the spaciousness in your being doesn't need to be filled. Instead, this space is a refuge for peace, a refuge for stillness. Through meditation, I personally am reminded that my very being has meaning and my presence has purpose. Through meditation, I find that space, that void that I initially felt is where I find the most peace. So ask yourself, what if you aren't your job? What if you aren't your occupation? What if you aren't your accomplishments? What if you aren't other people's perceptions of you? What if you aren't really even your own thoughts about yourself? Have you ever looked at a tree and thought to yourself, ugh, worthless. It's misshapen and it literally did nothing for society today? Or have you ever looked at a baby and thought to yourself, ugh, seriously, did not go to work today and I couldn't be more disappointed in this baby? Probably not. I hope not. But we tend to do this to ourselves, and you can see how strange and bizarre that sounds. And the reason that we don't do that to these things is because we know that their nature, their very nature, is filled with meaning, is filled with purpose far beyond what we can really comprehend. And you don't need to intellectualize it, or you don't need to know the meaning to understand that it is there. So today what I want to suggest to you is that you really are no different. But sadly, somewhere down the line, you were told that you had to perform to be worthy. I'm going to say that again. Somewhere down the line, you were probably told that you had to perform in order to be worthy. And that takes a lot of different shapes. And I think if you pause for just a moment, you probably know what those spaces are for you. This was a lie that has been placed on you probably by a people who haven't fully healed their own selves. You are worthy and meaningful. You have purpose far beyond what society has planned for you. Because your societal worth is defined on arbitrary principles. It changes over time. It changes depending on the region, depending on the culture, population, depending on your own age, your own demographic. That isn't to say that you should hide away from your societal role, but we can see that it is flawed, right? And that also doesn't mean that you don't need to play any part in that story, or that it can't bring meaning into your life. But I personally don't think that that needs to define you. It's too flawed to define you. And you are this phenomenal thing. Talk about an existential crisis. Like, wow, what a phenomenal thing you are. So as I was thinking about this, and as I was preparing for this class, I found myself thinking about Jeff Bezos. And you know what I think? I think that he is not more valuable than you or me. He might be wealthy, and he might have invented Amazon, which has brought convenience to billions of consumers. But is that really what life is about? Convenience, wealth, consumption? Probably not. I would hope not. So that's not to say that he didn't contribute to modern society in many questionable ways, but that doesn't make his life more. And you can see, this isn't a perfect example, but you can see how you can create other examples like this. How no matter what people do or create or contribute to their societal time, does that really make their essence worth more? To make that sort of distinction, to make that sort of decision, you would be playing the role of the gods, the heavens, the universe. Whatever you identify with, you'd be playing a role far bigger than your own mind is capable of. And so I don't really think that that's true. If you take anything away from this today, from this lesson, from our meditation that we'll do in a moment, I hope it's that you can get a glimpse of how this little perspective shift can really change the way that you live your life, because you'll find yourself to be worthy. And when you're worthy, those existential crises, you don't have to have those like I did to step into the present moment and to step in the power of who you truly are. Today I want to suggest to you that your worth is innate, and you are just as naturally valuable to the cosmic everything as a tree or a baby. I hope that you start to define yourself by the only thing that is actually real, this moment. You are not who you were, and you're not who you're going to be. These are just thoughts and ideas. So define yourself not by your doing, but your being. Define yourself by the love and compassion and the presence you bring to the here and now. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to be with this moment, be with our own beingness in a little meditation. And the meditation that I've prepared for you today is a very simple mantra. And that mantra is I am. Because you are. And that alone is pretty amazing. It's phenomenal. And it's so much more than you can really comprehend. So that mantra, I am. So go ahead and set up your space. Do what you need to do to be comfortable, whether that's lying down or sitting. And once you find yourself in a comfortable meditative position, we're just going to observe our surroundings. As you start to find yourself more in the here and now, start to bring your attention closer to the body. Notice the places of contact between you and your seat, the places of contact where the body rests upon the body. And as you become immersed in this moment, you might already feel yourself settling down. The eyes might gently fall closed. And notice that you're breathing. You're alive. Phenomenal, living being. Start to follow your breath, never forced, just on purpose. And we'll begin to incorporate the mantra. As you breathe in, I. As you breathe out, am. I am. I am. I am. If you find the mind to drift or wander away, that's okay. You can let it do so. See where the mind takes you. Or very gently return your thoughts back to the breath, back to the mantra, I am. Start to allow the mantra to drift and fade away if it hasn't already. And take this moment to just be to just breathe. Not now, but in a moment I'll begin to count backwards from 5. And not now, but the moment that I reach 1, your eyes will gently blink open. And I count 5, remembering yourself here and now in this space. 4, checking in with the body, checking in with the mind. 3, take a deep breath in, sip the top, and 2, an audible exhale. And 1, let the eyes blink open. Before you adjust, before you move, notice where you are. Notice you're here. Here now. Notice if you feel any different in the body from when you began. Notice any residual thoughts or emotions. And take another big deep breath in and audibly out. You can maybe stretch a little, breathing in and out. Take a moment to adjust back into your day, adjust back into the energy that you want to carry with you for the rest of the day. Take that space, take that moment for yourself before popping right up after this class. Again, thank you so much for being here. It really does mean far more to me than you will ever know. With that said, I hope you have a beautiful day, and I hope to see you back here next week.